Hello and welcome. My name is Angelique. Today I'm going to be talking about the astrology placement Aries and Venus. And this talk's going to be more about what we find pleasurable with this placement. So love, money, and beauty. And I'll talk about that a little more. If it's your first time, I like to explore and help to understand astrology from a mythological point of view, from symbolism, the four elements. And I've been a student of astrology for over 30 years with a background in counseling, psychology, mental health. So I love to explore and dive deep, just like a little raccoon diving in the trash for knowledge. Like, I love it. And astrology, not just for prediction, although it's great for that, but it can really help us to uncover our unconscious patterns, what we might be good at, what we love, how we love, our career. So taking the ethereal realm of astrology and really grounding it and making it practical to see how can we make it work for us, to find balance in our life, to make our life maybe more balanced, more richer, and something that we connect with emotionally. So, Aries and Venus, I'm going to start just talking about Aries and the symbolism and how that can look in the terms of love, beauty, and money. Because Venus rules pleasure, and just overall, just very quickly, briefly, Venus was the goddess of love, but also beauty and pleasure. Like, her a lot in her time as a mythological god was to find pleasure and peace and harmony and have a life where she could be admired, where she could be in love, where just like things were taken care of. And when we think of tangibly, what are some ways that we can feel secure in our life and feel pleasure, is usually a life where there's not a lot of obstacles, not a lot of conflict. So it's going to be more of a refined life. And what helps us get a life like that is usually love and beauty and money. Those are things that make us feel harmonious. Those are things that make us feel pleasurable, or we're able to attain pleasure through these aspects. So when we think of Aries, the mythology of Aries is ruled by the planet Mars, and Mars was the Roman god who really was more of this fiery, passionate, driven god, and a lot of what he liked to accomplish was on his own. So there was a lot of independence. It even could get so bad that he would hurt people or coerce people to do what he wanted to do, like have a child non-consensually. That is something Mars did, because of his passions, of what he wanted. He did not think about what other people wanted if it served him. And so when we put it with the sign of Venus, this is where it makes it a more challenging aspect in some degree. It can be. Traditional astrologers will say this is a detriment placement, meaning that the way it's expressed is not super smooth. It takes a lot of understanding of the person, of themselves, their desires or wishes, and figuring there's more internal work to get this placement to um, to not cause a lot of problems or conflict, as I would say. So it's not a bad placement. I don't think there are any bad placements. It's just there's maybe a little more friction than normal. And especially with something like Venus, other people are going to play a huge hand in things. One of the easiest ways for us to attain love and pleasure and money is by either working with other people or connecting with other people. That's the easiest way. But Aries, with that Mars energy, wants to do things more on its own, more independently, or through competition or conflict. And that is not the easier way to get love, pleasure, and money, right? Um, it's hard for a lot of reasons. One, it's, well, just overall, you can't just pick a money, you can't just get a tree and it just has money on it. You can pick it and you grow it yourself. You either find someone that can provide money for you, or you learn a skill, you learn a trade, you or you grow your own business. But those are relying on other people and understanding what other people want and need, and maybe it requires socialization, it requires being flexible and not doing everything the way that you want to do it. And that Mars energy does not is not comfortable there. It wants to do everything the way it wants to do. There's an independent, a self-serving attitude. So that's why Aries and Venus can be kind of tricky, because especially in the younger years, someone who, like, I'm thinking like teenage to adulthood, their their romantic relationships, how they are acquiring money, um, is going to be maybe more focused on themselves, and can come off immature, can come off aggressive or selfish. And so there might be a lot of heartache, there might be a lot of relationships that don't get off the ground, there might be a lot of conflict with jobs, and might be hard to attain a stable amount of money because of the need to serve yourself. And Venus was not about herself in that way. With Venus, there is definitely some part of it that was serving herself. I mean, we are beings that want ourselves to be comfortable in some way, but she was willing to do what she needed to do to make herself appear more beautiful, so she could attract more suitors that would take care of herself, um, making herself so beautiful that people would want to give her food, give her security, give her wealth. So there was this internal work that was made to come off graceful, to come off charming, so you can attract more people. That saying, you attract more flies with honey, that is Venus. And Aries is not inherently that. It is going to attract things either by force, by aggression, by just taking, or just by being a leader. And you can get things, but if you get them quickly without thinking about them, there's that impulsivity here with Mars. It might turn out that it's not really what you want, or you might really grab on and take something by force, but when you get it, the other people involved or the situation might not be very pleasant, and so it might be a letdown, kind of. And so, thinking of the symbolism, that Mars energy of Aries is going to bring this fiery quality. And fire, while it can spread and kind of consume everything, it can also um, be tough to light. It can also be snuffed out very easily, very quickly, especially with the element of air. So, Venus has two elements to it, it's air, but then also earth. Air is going to be more of the social, harmonious, lighter, flexible energy. But what that does to fire is either make it spread wildly out of control, or it snuffs it out before it even has a chance to start. So, what that would look like in terms of air and this fire quality are relationships that maybe don't get off the ground. This could be hopping through relationships one after another very quickly because you're just jumping in them and not taking time to see if it's a good match, not time to see if this is, really something you want. So we have the people that might be dating a lot more before they find their person, or they're in a lot of short-term relationships because that fire energy is going to make money, love, seeking pleasure just be almost childlike in nature. It's like it sees something, it wants it. That is that fire energy here. So it sees love, it sees money, it sees pleasure, it just wants it and wants it at all costs. It's a very competitive energy. Now, thinking of the more earthly component of Taurus, which relates to sensory pleasures and security. So we're thinking food, we're thinking about items that you wear, how you nourish your body, whether that's through skincare, whether that's through food, anything like that, um, anything of the senses. So this fire element is going to burn through or possibly make very destructive anything of the senses, any kind of security, anything that's maybe more grounded with Venus. And that's because Earth is very flammable under fire. The best way that we keep fire lit is lighting wood or some type of earth material. So what we get is someone that might burn through money very quickly, might be really hard for them to save. This is somebody who might not be good at stocking up food or tending to a garden. They might start it and stop it. It might be hard for them to be patient, to let money grow, to let love develop into a secure relationship. They might want what they want. They might want their pleasures as soon as possible or the way they want it. And sometimes it doesn't work that way, especially with money. We have to save or acquire wealth. It takes some patience, it takes some work, and it also takes maybe having a partnership or working with clients or customers. So this placement, Aries and Venus, needs to learn patience, needs to learn flexibility if it wants to have long-term security, wealth, as well as love, romantic partnerships, or just taking care of themselves. Like I said, that sense aesthetic beauty component. So there might be a desire to kind of just do stuff quickly and not really maintain the body in a way that would benefit them long term. So overall for love, Aries and Venus, this is a placement that is going to have some of that Mars energy, that fire quality. So you might really find that you get along with other people or find relationships that you connect with on a romantic level where the other person is maybe independent, where they are driven, or they're competitive, or they have something in their life that drives them. So someone who is maybe very lackadaisical and go with the flow when it comes to their life goals, their career, or just like they're not really motivated in most of the ways in their life, that might not be as attractive to you. It also might be hard for relationships to get off the ground if someone is really slow moving and really wants to take their time. That could be too slow for you, but also it's kind of a mismatch because with this Mars energy, your best romantic relationships are going to be the one where you are doing something energetic together, something passionate together. And I mean, use your imagination. This is going to be on YouTube, so I'm not going to do too graphic, but do things that you are passionate with together is going to be the best way to have longevity with this placement. So maybe you both are passionate about film or sports, or maybe you do sports together, or you do something competitive together, or you just share your passions with each other and you support each other. But also a relationship where both people are comfortable being independent can bring long-term longevity too. So a relationship can be that you are together and you're monogamous if you want that, but maybe the other person has a job where they travel a lot for work, or they really enjoy their hobbies and going out with their friends. So both people both people kind of need to understand that and enjoy that for this placement to really work. So that's what, like I said earlier, this placement can have a lot of relationships that are quick lived early on, because you're having to figure out this placement. And more people are, I don't want to say more people, but there's a good amount of people in society that aren't jumping into relationships, that actually want more time with their partner. So it could take a while to find somebody, and just understand that about yourself. But this is, you can have a long-term partnership with this placement. You just kind of need to look for these certain things that will make you feel loved and connect with somebody. For money, Aries and Venus is a placement that can really find success earning money through their own work, their own endeavors. So this is an entrepreneur. I always have difficulty saying that. Somebody who maybe works for themselves, they have their own business, or they just have an independent working style, but they can thrive in an active working environment. So maybe this is someone who works in an office, but the work that you're doing is more independent focus. You're not relying on other team members as much to accomplish a goal. Aries rules the head, so there could be a lot of the head and the body. So a lot of money can just come from using your body or your head. So I'm thinking modeling, but maybe a hairdresser, being a makeup artist, being a dancer, an athlete. This position could be really good for being a coach, or any kind of job where you're helping people to compete, or you're really motivating. Anything where you can feel passionate about and put your passion into it can make a good amount of money. And when it comes to beauty, Aries and Venus might really feel beautiful in environments that are said are more active. So just a social environment that they can kind of move through and still be independent. So a home that maybe has friends or roommates, or you have a good amount of family members that like to hang out and do social things and talk with each other, could be something that is very harmonious to you. And in terms of personal aesthetics, Aries and Venus, they might really like having short hair, or hair that has like red undertones to it, or having a body that is more athletic in appearance, or just muscular. That might be something that you find attractive about yourself, but also what you would find attractive in other people is someone that has maybe a more athletic, active build, muscular build. But having your aesthetics and an environment that lean into these attributes can be really good at protecting against like a really stressful day or big challenging things going in your life, if you are able to go to a working environment or a home that has kind of these more active elements, like playing games, if it's video games, if it's playing games with other people. So something where there could be competition or passion, or just something very active. And the more that you do that, the more at peace and harmonious you might feel. All right. Thank you so much, Aries and Venus. If you have this placement and you'd like to share how this comes up for you, you can leave a comment But otherwise, thank you again so much and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye bye.